lot of people think that sustainability and environmentalism are kind of this like niche thing that, oh, it's really cool that you're passionate about the environment. It's just not really my thing. My name is Elizabeth Couse. I'm 21 years old and I'm from Binghamton, New York. I'm studying international agriculture and rural development at Cornell, and I'm minoring in education and community food systems. My passion for environmentalism has definitely built up slowly throughout my life out of a lot of gradual events. I'd say growing up in my family, it's always been something that's been relevant and talked about, but it was never super important to me up until I got to high school. I went to boarding school for high school, where one of our core values is environmental stewardship. So everything we did throughout my entire high school experience was really focused on the environment. Leaving my high school and coming to Cornell, I kind of had this big wake-up call where I realized that not everyone is actually living in this tiny bubble and living in accords with the environment. After my freshman year at Cornell, I decided to go volunteer at an organic permaculture farm in Costa Rica, and that really is what made me know that this was going to be my life's passion. I was living with a family that lives totally off-grid, so they produce all their own energy, they grow all their own food, they make everything themselves, they're very tight-knit with all the rest of the community in their town. Everyone just trades with each other and provides each other with their own food, or like there's a chocolate farm down the road. Like no one really pays for anything. It's just such a community feel, and the lifestyle there was so incredible and the people were so happy. And I was with a huge group of volunteers who were all pretty much from either America or Europe or the Western world, and we all were just amazed by how these people were able to live at such ease with the environment and with each other, and so happily, but living such a simple lifestyle. So coming back from my time in Costa Rica, I knew that I wanted to really focus on sustainability in my last couple years at Cornell, and that was also at the same time that I was getting ready to decide about study abroad. So I decided to do 2 semesters that were both focused on environmental action and sustainability, which just like furthered my passion for it and also my knowledge about how I want to live and how I want to contribute to the world. This past spring, I studied abroad in Byron Bay, Australia, and Byron Bay is a little hippie surf town in northern New South Wales in Australia, and my program there was also focused on environmental action and sustainability, and it had a lot more of a radical focus. So many people there are really living in ways that line up with their values and what they preach. I first got introduced to the zero waste lifestyle actually on social media, so it's become quite a big trend, especially on Instagram, of all these people living zero waste, and I got introduced to it last summer because of that, and I was definitely really intrigued by it and inspired just because I am an environmentalist, and it was something that interested me, and I definitely wanted to apply it to my own life. It's really a social justice issue because so many of the things that we do in like developed countries, they have such a big impact for other people, and we don't even realize it because our system has just become so distanced. But what I really learned there is all of these things that you don't even think about it. You grab a fork or you grab a plastic bag at the store or at a cafe and you throw it away, and I did that probably like thousands of times throughout my life. I started making my own toothpaste out of baking soda and coconut oil, and the first recipe that I tried out I actually hated. I thought it tasted so bad, and I was complaining to some of my friends who are also zero waste about it, but they're kind of like, we were all attempting zero waste together, And they were just like, why don't you just buy like normal toothpaste? Like, why don't you just buy like some Crest or something like that? And I was thinking about it, and I was like, why don't I just buy some normal tasting toothpaste instead of using this really disgusting stuff? I went to Bali before I went to Australia is when I really got a wake-up call about all of it. So much of the trash that has been discarded by the Western world just gets shipped off to these places, and their entire environments are completely trashed. So I would go to these beaches, or I'd get really excited to go to these beaches that, you know, you see these beautiful pictures online of crystal clear water and just gorgeous white sand, and then we'd get there and the entire, like for miles, stretches would just be covered in trash, and we wouldn't even be able to swim in the water because there were such huge pieces of trash everywhere that would like hit you and cut you if you got in the water. It's really easy when you're alone, or if people around you don't care, if you're gonna go to the store or whatever and get something disposable, it doesn't really matter and it's easy to make that choice. But when you're surrounded by people who are also doing the same thing and, like I said, are gonna keep you accountable, it makes it so much easier. When I first decided that I wanted to go zero waste, the first thing that I did was I got out the garbage can in my room and I just looked to see what was inside of it. Because I think we don't even realize the everyday little things that we use all the time that produce waste. And I think food is a huge part of that. So much food comes in packaging that's so unnecessary, and we use so much unnecessary plastic when it comes to food. So bringing your own reusable produce bags and deciding to purchase the products that come in cardboard or paper rather than plastic. Some of the other things, and even shampoo bottles and toothbrushes, it's so easy to purchase products that don't come with plastic, and if you're lucky enough to have a co-op or health food store in your area that has bulk products on tap, that's a really great way. I actually, when I first was kind of like going zero waste, and I started to think about like all of the tubes of toothpaste that I've ever used in my entire life, and I know that this might sound like ridiculous, but in my lifetime, I probably got a new tube of toothpaste every few months. That's a few a year times 21 years. That's like over 60 tubes of toothpaste that are somewhere on this planet today, very likely in the ocean somewhere. So like I said, I think that sustainable living, more than any set of actions, it's really about a mindset. So in every decision you make, whether it's buying something or deciding to go somewhere or treat someone a certain way, really try to live intentionally and just realize the impact of everything that you do. Whether we like it or not, everyone is changing the world, whether that's in a positive or negative way. Every single action you make votes for the kind of world that you want to have. So vote intentionally and live intentionally and try to approach decisions with a mindful and respectful manner for all life.